feels weird because they're like staring at me and I can feel it, but it's not real people, so. Hi everybody, it's Wednesday. 2 years ago, when our channel was still a little fledgling YouTube channel, and it was still not even a year old, Sarah and I watched the DCOM Descendants. Since then, we have gotten what has felt like hundreds of comments asking if we were gonna watch the sequel this year, and of course we were going to. Why wouldn't we when it was one of our most viewed videos? And why wouldn't we when we fell in love with these characters despite our mixed and even negative feelings about the first movie, which I do have to report have unfortunately changed. Upon second viewing, I've decided that it's a okay movie. Then a week ago, we uploaded PNS Watch Descendants 2. This movie was arguably better than its predecessor. The music was better, the sets were better, the costumes were better, the choreography was better, everything was better, especially the characters. Because the first movie focuses so much on world building and the central plot that the 4 villain kids, or VKs, are invited to Auradon, and they're good, and they choose to be so, we don't actually get a lot of character building. But because all of that is set by the time that we get to the second movie, we get to spend more time with each of these characters as individuals. More importantly, we get to see these characters of color, or at the very least actors of color playing those characters, as teenagers who are trying to escape their pasts and be better than their parents because that's what they want. Jay, son of Jafar, is maybe only miscast because Boo Boo Stewart is anything but Arab. He's still gorgeous, and his lineage really only serves the plot enough to remind him of his life on the Isle. It doesn't really matter who his parent is. In the first movie, Jay is aggressive and energetic, and he doesn't really know what to do with all of that energy until he tries out for the tourney team, which seems to be a cross between rugby and lacrosse. But in the second movie, we get to see him as a leader. He's the captain of what I think is a fencing team. The sport is a little confused, but really what matters is that Jay is trusted enough by the Auradon kids to be their captain. He's a protector, and he believes in the power of a team. He would go to any lengths for his friends, and we get to see him be so open-minded and level-headed enough to step down from his position of leadership so that somebody else can prove their worthiness. Carlos, son of Cruella de Vil, because she's just so threatening to other human beings, is actually my son, and I love him and his dog Dude. It's just a fact. I don't think it's quite accurate to say that Carlos was shy in the first movie, but certainly anxious. He didn't want to go to Auradon because he heard that there were dogs there, and for a second he even believes that his mother is going to miss him. But then, like the other VKs, he realized that he blooms in Auradon. He joins the tourney team with Jay, even though he's not quite as athletic, he's just fast. He got over his fear of dogs in no time flat, but now Dude is his best friend. In the second movie, we really get to see Carlos believe in himself. He built a 3D printer with his own hands. He works up the courage to ask a girl out, even though I realized that that relationship was rushed and not fleshed out at all, and also J-Lo's lives. He returns to the Isle to help his friends without really ever wondering what his mother would think if she knew he was there. Then there's Evie, daughter of the evil queen, who's actually my daughter because I love her more. She's raised to believe that being stupid and ditzy will get her a prince, but then she comes to Auradon and finds out that people will like her if she's just herself. She realizes that she can be smart, beautiful, kind, and caring, and that all of those are pieces of who she wants to be. In the second movie, Evie is the first one to know where Mal is gone. She rallies the troops and basically organizes the whole trip to the Isle. She's the one that gets the heartfelt duet with Mal about acceptance and connection, and it's pretty freaking gay. Even though Mal's relationship with Ben is really what sets the events of the movie into action. Evie even shows us just how wonderful she is with the other kids of the Isle when she interacts with Dizzy, daughter of Drizella. We learn that Evie is basically Dizzy's mentor, idol, and the person that gives her hope that there are bigger and better things than what the Isle can offer. And then at the end of the movie, it's Evie that gets Dizzy invited to Auradon. She even has a list of kids that she wants Ben to bring over because she knows what it's like to be the innocent child of a villain. What's so special about Evie is that she uses her experience to make the lives of other people better just because she can. One character who is far too important not to talk about but is currently only in this second movie is, of course, Uma, daughter of Ursula. She's hot-tempered, but hopefully not that much of a stereotype. She's calculating and clever, and she's got a wicked sense of fashion and enough competence to run a pirate crew, which is good because her first mate is useless and weirdly predatory. Everybody on Tumblr really loves Harry, and I just don't get it. Now, I know you may be thinking, the only dark-skinned girl in the movie is the villain? What the f? And you'd be right to think that because Uma is the villain. But I kind of argue that she's not like other villains, because the first movie and 3 books already exist by the time that us as audience members go into the second movie. We know that the VKs are innocent of their parents' crimes. We know that they have been punished for something that they didn't do and that they can't change, basically for just existing because President King Beast decided that the villain should get kids and also be resurrected from the dead for some reason. I still don't get it. My point is that we know that Uma has a reason for her anger. Not necessarily that she needs one, but that she has one. She's been left behind, forgotten by Ben and her mother, underestimated by Mal, and cast out of the group the second that the VKs left the Isle. Ben even says that she's an angry girl with a bad plan, just like Mal, which does get into a conversation of why Mal is always rewarded for these weird villain-like behaviors, but then Uma is very clearly meant to be seen in a different light for doing the exact same things. I think Uma is a complex young girl who wants a life better for herself than being stuck on an island where she has to work in her mother's rundown restaurant where there's no Wi-Fi, magic, or any healthy relationships. She just feels like she has to take it to get it. It's a very common thread among villains. And by the end of the movie, Uma is finally offered those things that she wants, but she chooses not to take them. The final scene of the movie is a little weird when it comes to Uma's motivations, because like, what did she actually want if she was given what she wanted and still just walked away from it anyway, or swam away? But at least Uma is given something that not many other villains are: compassion and opportunity. The first, most villains are hardly ever given, except for like Megamind, and the second is something that villains usually feel they have to take. I want to make it clear that while I think Uma is fun and interesting, I'm not about to argue against those that feel that she does fall into some tropes and stereotypes. I won't tell you that she isn't the only dark-skinned girl in the movie, because she is, nor that there isn't a colorism problem, especially when it comes to the fact that the light-skinned VKs get happy endings twice, and Uma just swims back off to the Isle for no reason. I will say that I think a lot of these weird things happen because the writers wanted to keep some mystery surrounding Uma's character for the third Descendants movie, but that doesn't make it right. I wonder if there's something to be said about the fact that the white characters are the main characters when all of the other characters have the character growth. Is Ben even worth it? Do we need him? I don't think so. When it comes down to it, I think that Descendants is more than just a cool idea. Sure, there are things that happen in both movies, and I'm sure in the books that I still haven't read, that are weird, unnecessary, problematic, but the heart of the movies resonates. They're both about a group of abused children leaving their abusive situations, becoming better people for it, and also returning to that place where they were abused and learning to grow from just that. They believe in themselves and each other, and I think that's the main reason that I fell in love with these characters when we watched the first movie. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. In the comments below, let me know what your thoughts on all of this are, because I realize that was a lot. If you're not already subscribed to The Princess and the Scrivener, please do so down below, especially if you'd like to see more videos on Disney, intersectional feminism, pop culture critiques, and more. The Scrivener will see you next week. Look, I have this. I also got the one with Carrie Fisher on the cover. I have Beauty and the Beast lithographs. Look at my OTP. Look at that. Look at that. Oh, there's a Be Our Guest one! Guys, if you know anything about me, you know that Beauty and the Beast is my favorite movie. Be Our Guest is my favorite scene. And Belle in the bookstore.
Far-off places, daring sword fights, magic spells, a prince in disguise. If you like it all that much, it's yours. But sir!
I just have this random picture of the Guardians of the Galaxy. It's framed. The only thing it's missing is Yondu. One of these days, I'll come clean about my obsession with Yondu, but until that day, you're just gonna wonder. Also, yes, that is a picture of me playing Quidditch.